Okay, back at it today. Had to do a little work on the old plow truck. Failed inspection, so I had a few, little things to take care of. You think this is covered by warranty? I don't know. Poor old truck. Anyway, then after I had that in here, I had to, as soon as you touch it with the impact, you have about 7.5 pounds of rust to sweep up off the floor. So did a little reset in the shop, got myself kind of squared away, so I'm ready to work again. First thing I got to do is just blow this bumper back off here again. I'm also thinking, I'm looking at this, and I'm pretty sure if I was clever, I could splay this bumper out a little bit on the sides just to get this nose in a little bit. I think I could flatten that out. If I had like a 1/4 inch, that might be enough. Probably do that on the bench with some clamps or whatever, but I'm not going to do that today. Today, we're going to start the bodywork phase. Yay! Yeah. Anyway, so like I mentioned before, first thing I'm going to do is block out this EDP. So I've got EDP all over the car, obviously. They're all new panels and some epoxy in other places, but it's all EDP or epoxy. So I can block this out, find my high spots, my low spots. Specifically, I'm worried more about high spots. I want to get those down. I'm not good enough with filler to sit there and chase out high spots. So I'm going to try to get the metal as close as I possibly can, pulling up the lows, pushing down the highs. It looks good right now, but it's not. I mean, these are, aftermarket panels. They all require some tweaking. And when these are stamped, they're not stamped to the same standards that the old ones were. And, they tend to get a little wavy. You can't really see it in the EDP, but as soon as you put a high gloss finish on it, you'll see it like crazy. So I'm going to start in the back, work my way down this side to the front, do the same thing on the other side. Then I'll flip up onto the trunk deck area, flip up onto the hood area. Might take the hood off to do it just because it's so high, but we'll see. Want to get that squared away. Once I get all the high spots worked out and any low spots I want to deal with pulled up, low spots are obviously easier to correct with filler, but the less filler I can use, the better. So you never get away from it completely, but you can certainly get down to an amount that isn't crazy. And like I said, I'm not good enough at this to sculpt the body. So that's going to be my first step. I'm going to just block this out. I will bring you back when I got something to show you and show you what I'm into. I've got blue dicum. I've got all my sanding blocks set up here. And if I get into an area where I think I need to, after I've adjusted it, I need to look at it again, I'll hit it with the blue dicum, come back and scuff it one more time and see what I got. But, the bodies are close. I mean, these aren't bad. I mean, everybody complains about these body panels not being as good as the original, blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm just glad they have them. I tend to look at it a different way. I look at it like I have to rebuild every panel on this car from scratch. And these panels that you buy are starting points. Look at it like that and you'll never be disappointed. It is what it is. I did have a subscriber message me the other day about he had some issues with his. He's going to send me some measurements, but his turned out to be quite long back here. And he's going to send me some measurements. We'll compare them. I'll probably do a little bit of a segment on that once I get those numbers. But you can kind of see how that all lines up. So anyway, I'm going to get after this thing, and I'm hoping I'm trying to get this all done so that I can get through the blocking of the EDP. Once the EDP is blocked and I'm happy with where the metal is for the final time, I will then take and strip the whole thing bare. Once it's all down to bare metal, then I'll get it into epoxy and then primer. But for right now, first step, EDP, block out the EDP. So I'll bring you back when I got something to show you. Okay, so I started blocking this out, and you can see this one's actually pretty good, relatively speaking. Got a couple of low spots here. I can work those out a little bit. But honestly, those are so low, so shallow. The high build primer would probably almost take care of it. I'm going to work this one a little bit because there's a high spot right here, 2 low spots around it. So if I work this down, I think I can get that better. Got one little bump right here, probably hit it with something, duh. And then just a very mild little rise right there. I can use the slapping spoon to work that out. And then as you get down in here, you know, you just gotta kind of pick your battles, right? It's a little high. I can probably spoon that in just a little bit without going crazy. I don't want to cause a dent, but I just want to get those high spots to lay down. You know, a high spot like this, for instance, it would take a lot of putty to chase that out, right? I mean, you'd be all the way back into here. So, you know, this is just a little intermediate step. I think it's going to help in the long run. It's going to cause less filler, obviously. So I'm going to continue to, you know, in here, I'm probably not going to be able to do much with the low spot in here, but I might be able to heat this up with a shrinking disc a little bit and just kind of make that a little better. And once I do that, we'll be in pretty good shape. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to start working from here back. I'll block it out, hit it with some either Dicom or some other type of, just any cheap paint will do, something that dries fast. And I think I actually have some of the official stuff from Eastwood there too, the spray bomb of the name escapes me. But anyway, I'll bring you back. So basically I'm gonna work the top body line all the way down through to the nose, through the door, all of that, and then the bottom, work that all the way down through, and then just, you know, slowly adjust the metal where I can, and we'll go see what happens. All right, I've been working this a little bit. I got these two down to ridiculously small low spots. Use the file a little bit. I'm close on those. I think that's plenty. I'm pretty sure that the actual high build primer will fill those. Work this out, got that to a much bigger area. Everything else is looking good. I got one low spot right here I got to pull. If I can't get behind it, I'm going to try to get behind it first, obviously. Work this out. Everything else, the doors look amazingly good, at least in the top line. And fenders look really good. One mild high spot right here, but not sure it's really much to address. And then this bump right here at the brace, which I've worked with a slapping spoon, then hit it with more guide coat. So I'm just gonna keep working up this side, then I'll go down below the body line, do the same thing, repeat that again, and move to the other side. Rinse and repeat. But that's the process. Basically, you find anywhere you can get to it, use a hammer and dolly. It's just a lot easier. If you can't get to it, then, you know, hit it up with some you can hit it with a puller or something like that, stud welder puller. So anyway, gonna keep moving. Okay, this side's ready to strip. I got one super shallow spot right here. Very, very shallow. And I can't get to the back of it. So rather than pull that and potentially, you know, cause a bigger problem, I'm pretty sure that will mostly come out with the primer, but we'll see. If not, that's a good candidate for a light skim coat. Everything else looks good. These doors are fantastic. A little bit of, had to take a shrinking disc, one of those rigs, to this area in here. There was quite a bulge. I got it down pretty good. Same thing on the bottom, had to shrink that. Just use the shrinking disc on that, get it hot. It cools down. When it does, it kind of pulls in a little bit. That seems to work well. I got one little tiny depression right there. Can't get to the back of that either. So I'll just use the, that again will come right out with a little bit of filler, but all the major, gotchas that were going to be, high spots like this and down there. I've worked those out pretty well. As you can see, I've got it pretty good. I got a couple of really minor imperfections back here that will also probably come right out with a filler. So that's it for this side. I'm going to switch gears now, move the car over so I have a little bit more room to work on the other side, and then rinse and repeat. Once that's done, I'll move to the trunk deck, then the hood. So it's going a lot better than I thought it would. I do have one rough section on the fender on the other side that's going to fight me a bit. Fully expect it. But other than that, I'm super happy with this side. So I'm going to switch over to that side and keep going. I got all my tools here. I got the Juby's Door Tweaker 2000 here to help twist the door a little bit if needed. This thing works great. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move it over now, hit the other side, get it to this stage, then move on to the trunk deck. Of course, the trunk deck's all blind, so if there's any really offensive low spots on that, I'm going to have to pull that with the spot welder, stud welder, spot stud, whatever. And then I'll do the trunk deck, the tail panel, move a hood, and then the front balance, and I'll be ready to strip this thing probably tomorrow, the way things are going. So pretty happy with what I got so far. So I pulled the tape off this side, getting ready to start stripping the EDP, blocking it out first, then I'll strip it all down. If anybody ever wanted any reason for pulling the EDP, stripping it completely down, look at this. This is just regular tape that was stuck to that probably 3 or 4 months, but I wouldn't expect primer to come up with tape. Look at that. That's crazy. So that's the reason why you strip this stuff off, especially on the outer surfaces where you're counting on a lasting finish. So, and a durable finish. That is nuts. It literally just peeled like a layer of that stuff off. Unexpected. Also seen, pictures on other channels where the fellas will start to sand it and stand through the EDP, and all of a sudden they find a rusty handprint under it. You just have no idea how this stuff was prepped or handled, and you go through all this, there's no reason to risk that. You should definitely strip the EDP off the outer surfaces. Inner surfaces where you're going to use chassis paints and things like that, who cares? Just, scuff it to 80 grit, whatever, and then go with it. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't expect any primer to come up with tape. That's incredible. So anyway, all right, gonna move on now. Gonna quit my whining, start strip this side down, or block this side out, the E-coat, and then I will just rinse and repeat. All right, that's it. I blocked out all the EDP, took care of any high spots specifically, either with the shrinking disc to get them to come down, or every once in a while you can just tap it with a hammer a little bit. Key is a little bit of a low spot is way better than a high spot. So anyway, I worked out all the details I could. Like for instance, I got one little low spot right here still. I can't reach it, so I'm gonna just use filler on that. So anyway, I probably reduced my filler usage by half, at least, by going through and manipulating the what I can with the hammer and dolly in metalwork. Now the next step is to go through, and like this one here, I had to work down a little bit. And so the next step is to strip all this EDP off, and that'll probably be the next video. Again, EDP, I think it's electro-deposited primer. Really should be electro-deposited protectant. Get it off there. Not a good idea to just use it as a base coat. Anyway, so I'll strip that down next. Next step, strip it using the surface conditioner. Once it's stripped down to bare metal, I'll hit it with the 80 grit on the DA to give the epoxy primer some tooth. Once that's done, I will mask this off and get it ready to roll in the booth, or probably roll it in the booth first, and hit it with epoxy, immediately followed by the polyester high build primer. Should be fun. I've never used the polyester before. Looks very interesting, very much leaps and bounds above what we used to have back in the day, but I'm gonna give it a go because everybody claims it's great. So anyway, yeah, we're looking pretty good. The only place I do have some body work I'm gonna have to do is on the bottom of that fender up there where it got a little hot on me. So again, it's nice and smooth. It's anything in there is a low point. It's not a high point. High points you have to chase out with filler. Low points you can fill in with filler, which in Mike's world, that's a better equation. So anyway, this is it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share, do all that jazz. And I'll probably be back in here tomorrow to strip the EDP.